Okay, so I first wanted to introduce myself. My name is Teresa Christensen. I am a faculty member at PNCA. I'm the chair of the photography department, and I teach in that department. I'm also the director of academic technology. So that means that I am in charge of the software that's used for curriculum, making sure that classes have the equipment they need, and Canvas is sort of my big project at the moment. Um, and I also wanted to introduce you to Sarah Andyshak, who's here on this call. And Sarah, do you want to just say your title and what support you can offer these folks?
Sure. Make sure I'm not muted. Yes. Okay. So I started at Willamette at the end of October. I am the new director of the Digital Learning Studio, and I've met a couple of you before. I used to be an art history professor in Texas, and I moved up to be closer to family. But the reason that's valid is that I taught in Canvas for 7 years, so I'm very familiar with it. And beyond that, we have access in the DLS to all sorts of different educational technologies. And I think I've reached out to most of your departments, but the short version is we have things like video and audio editing and graphic design and just a lot of other technologies.
Yeah, and Sarah's going to be, well, she is part of the team that Canvas is one of the many different technologies that they'll be supporting for faculty. So the DLS is a great resource, as is Sarah, and she'll be on our team of people who help answer tickets when you write for support. So now you have a face to put to that. So I'm starting out on the Willamette website just to show you, for those of you who are brand new faculty, how to find Canvas, as well as a lot of other resources. If you click this My Willamette button, it will ask you to log in with your Willamette credentials, which I have done already. And then it takes you to this mywillamette.edu, which is a portal that then directs you to a lot of different resources at Willamette. Tons of stuff can be seen here, but Canvas has its own little special button right at the top there, right next to Sage, which is where your course roster will be. And this is the registration system for students. So this is how you can get to Canvas. You'll also see it's in this essentials item right under academics. And this has been set up so that faculty have a different view than students do and a different view than staff do. So depending on your membership with the college, you might see a little bit of a different organization here, and you can favorite your favorite items here as well. So tons of stuff to play around with here, but this is a great way to get to Canvas. And when you click on Canvas, it's going to direct you, where's my last tab, to Canvas. So it's logging you in with your Willamette credentials, it's a single sign-on, and you do need your Willamette credentials in order to log in. So if you haven't been onboarded yet, ask HR if you have any questions about that. But when you land here, this is where you see your dashboard. It should have all of your courses, and they divide them up here in terms of published and unpublished. I'm going to come back to this in a second. I first wanted to just show you your account, which is this top button. On the left, all these different icons here are your global navigation of Canvas. So I'm going to lead you through a few important ones here. When you click on account, there are a few fun things you can do here. If you click on profile, you'll be able to upload a picture of yourself here. You can put a biography if you want or anything else, but a photograph is especially important. We haven't yet set up Canvas to sync photographs from Sage, from our registration system, which will be amazing if we can ever do that, because then you can see photographs of your students, but right now you don't see them unless you put them in yourself. So encourage your students to do that because it does help with getting to learn names, and definitely put one in of yourself so that your students have a face to attach to. I think it's a good gesture there. Another neat thing you can do here is you can go up to notifications, and you can set up when you get notifications for different things in your classes. This will apply to all of your classes, but you can also go into individual classes. It says here that individual courses can be changed within each course and will then override these notifications. So these are things like it can push to your devices if you have the mobile app set up, but you can get emails when students message you or when they turn in assignments or when things are due. This is a great thing for students to set up so they get notices when things are going to be due. Just something you can come back to at some point. It is not urgent. Another thing that's useful, since I just mentioned the mobile app, is there is a Canvas mobile app. There's one called Canvas Teacher and one called Canvas Student. And I do advise that you put that on if you're used to working on your phone or a tablet. It is something that a lot of our students use, so it will help you understand sort of how they see Canvas as well. And once you download that app, you will need to go here, QR for mobile login, in order to get a QR code that you then photograph with your device that will sync your login, so it makes sure it's pointing to the right instance. And I'm not going to proceed here because I don't want all of you to see my QR code, that it just has this warning symbol here. But that is where you will find that. So when you're setting up the mobile app, that's the last step you need there. I'm gonna hit cancel there. And if anyone has a question, I should just say, feel free to just chime in, or you can post something in the chat. It looks like there might be something there now. Oh yeah, Sarah posted something. And Sarah will keep an eye on it here as well. So please, this is an informal session. Feel free to chime in. I'm going to cancel that. And the last thing I'll show you here is files. So files is kind of a repository where you can upload a lot of your files that you might use across courses. Each course site will have files as well. So you'll be able to upload files to each course site. But this is where you can upload just general stuff, especially if you plan to use like a certain reading across all courses or a certain set of guidelines. So you can always access them here. Something else in global navigation that's worth looking at is this help button at the very bottom. That takes you to a few different things that can provide support for you. The first is this link here at the top, which will take you to our help ticket system. Whoops, I don't want you to see all of my help tickets. I see the back end. It will take you to a place where you can log in a help ticket. So the Willamette Help Desk, which also has myself and Sarah included in the tickets related to Canvas, is a great place to go when you have questions about something not working or how to set up something in your course. If you have questions about your Canvas course, like the students that are in the roster or the course number or the course title, that should go to registrar, because everything they set up in the registration system comes over to Canvas. But any other user type of support, please write a help ticket. You can also do some digging yourself. So you can search the Canvas guides. This is a really useful resource here. It will take you to this community repository of lots of different help articles. And I have discovered so much through this. So that's a great link. You can ask the community by typing in a question, see if anyone else has similar questions. So those two links are especially helpful. And then the last thing that might be helpful to you is a few buttons up. It says Commons. So Commons is an area where people across all different universities have shared their own Canvas course sites into a Commons area. And if you go into this filter, you can select Willamette University if you want to see just Willamette University related courses. And not too many departments have shared courses here, but if you are, let's say you're a new faculty member and you're teaching a course that's been taught many times before, like drawing level 1, you might ask your department head if they could share some of the past courses to Commons, because that will give you a way to look at those courses and get ideas for how you want to arrange yours. So I'm hoping people start to use Commons more. It is a way to share content, and it doesn't display any student information or student submissions or grades, just the content. If you don't have the option of Commons, should you be concerned? I'm not sure, Chris. That is a good question that just popped up in the chat. You don't see it on your global navigation. I can take a look at your settings at some point.
Well, and it could be that we're not faculty and that's why.
Yeah, maybe that's why, but that is interesting.
It's not in your sidebar under that, like the very far left.
I have everything but that.
Huh.
Okay, interesting. It might be because you don't have a course yet.
I don't have admin either, but maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh yeah, that
that's
admin
why.
button is just for admins like myself, I'm an admin, but also if you're in a leadership position, like you're a department chair, you will have that button too, so that you can see the courses in your department, and all department chairs can see the courses in their area. So you can always ask the chair of your department for, can you meet with me and show me some past courses? But yeah, Chris, I think it might be because you're not set up as faculty.
Okay.
I can take a look though. Yeah. The last thing on this global, well, actually there are two more things in terms of buttons. I want to show you the inbox button. So the inbox button is a great way to, I don't want to display all my student messages, but I will start a message. There we go. To message your students. And this is really restricted just to messaging students in your courses, but it's a really nice way to separate out the communication with your courses from your giant, or what will soon become your giant inbox in your Willamette Gmail account. And I actually use all of my course communications just through this Canvas inbox instead of using my regular email, so that I can separate it out. And I find that students are pretty responsive on Canvas Message, especially if they have the app installed on their phone, because it feels just much more easy and less overwhelming than going through your inbox in your Gmail account. So you want to, when you make a message, always select what course it's related to. So you can't just message anyone in the whole school. It is always related to a course. So you can choose one of your courses. Like here's my test course. And then you can choose either to message all the people in the course, or you can just choose some of them. You can choose a specific student. It is a great way to send a message to all students in your course. You can insert the subject here, and it's just like writing a message. It does have the option of adding an attachment, and there's this neat feature where you can record a video or an audio comment and embed it directly into the message. So that is a really nice way to be able to give feedback to students if you need to explain something and you don't really want to type it out, or you feel like audio might be a better way to communicate to them. So I would encourage you all to use the inbox. Give it a try. Another feature that's kind of neat is the calendar feature. And this feature allows you to sort of separate out your classes. If you're teaching a lot of classes, it's useful because you can code each course with a different color. So like this course is blue right now. And it will self-populate as soon as you start putting assignment due dates in your course. So mine is pretty blank because I haven't built out my assignment due dates yet. But as soon as you start to do that in your course, it will put calendar events for when things are due. And for students, this is really nice to be able to manage their time, because they can look at their calendar and get a visual of what's due when and how they have to work towards it. You can also schedule things like meetings with your students, appointment slots, and it's just sort of a different thing outside of Google Calendar for you to work with. You cannot bring the Google Calendar into this calendar, but there is a feed option available so that you can import the Canvas calendar into your Google Calendar. So it can go that direction. I'll just show you a quick little trick here. So when you start a new event, this would be outside of like assignment due dates, which populate on their own. Let's say you're going to have like a field trip or something and you want to get it on everyone's calendar. You can just go through and choose, the date and time. It'll be in the middle of the night. Make sure though that you choose which course it's for when you make the event, so that it goes to the right students that are in your class. The other thing you can do, this is where you can make an assignment due date. I wouldn't recommend doing it here. It's better to do it in the assignment tool, which I will show you in Thursday's session. You can also create to-do list things for yourself, or you can say, I need to grade everyone's stuff by this day. You're welcome to add those in here. But one of my favorite features here is that you can create appointment slots. Like, let's say you're going to do midterm meetings with your students and you want individual appointment slots for them to sign up for during class time. So you can do that here. It could be like a midterm check-in, classroom, and you can do a time range, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m., let's say. And you can divide it into slots. Like, let's say it's 30-minute slots. Limit each slot to 1 user, let's say. Limit participants to attend only 1 appointment. Once you set these up, you do have to hit go so that it breaks out those appointment slots. And then you can publish it and your students can actually sign up for appointments within Canvas. So that's just a nice tool to use if you're doing an activity in the classroom. You can also have them sign up in groups if you, let's say, wanted students to divide up into groups and sign up for appointments. So that's really nice for advising or those one-on-one sessions when you're, instead of having a class with everybody, you're going to meet with people one-on-one. Okay, so that's the calendar. I think we did most of the important buttons here. To get into your courses, if you hit this courses button, it will show you a sort of short list of courses. If you hit this all courses button at the top, it's going to show you, and I have a lot, if you're new faculty, you won't have that many. It'll show you all the courses you've had an affiliation with, either as a student or a teacher. And if you're looking for past term courses, they will be down here in past enrollments. So these are all the past courses that I have taught in Canvas. A lot of faculty get confused and think they've lost their past courses. They are always there as long as you have a Willamette login. And students also have access to all the course content of past courses. They can find them all here. They can't submit materials or change anything, and you can't change anything once the term is totally passed, but the content is there for students who want to see it. So that is very nice. If you hit little stars next to certain courses, that will mean that that course will be viewable in your dashboard, and it'll be viewable in that sort of short list. So if you have a lot of courses and clutter here, just star the ones that are important to you. And then when you go to your courses, those will be the ones that show up. And when you go to your dashboard, again, those are the ones that are going to show up. Your dashboard is kind of like your shortcut to all the things you might want to do in Canvas. So it has these course cards for each of your courses. These are my published courses. These are my unpublished courses. On the right side, it will have a to-do list that will start to populate. For students, this will be assignments that are coming up that are due. And for you, it's probably going to be things you need to grade or take a look at for submitted materials. It'll have to do, and then it'll have coming up when things are going to be due soon. Recent feedback or comments anyone has given you on assignments for students, that's important because that'll be their grades. And yeah, there's some hot buttons here. These course cards have a few things you can do with them to make them a little more fun. You can click on this little ellipse here, and you can choose a color code for your course that'll show up in that calendar view, and it might just help you differentiate courses. So you can choose a color for your course. I have this purple here, and you can also give it a nickname if you don't like the name of your course. So right now, this is the course I'm going to be teaching, but I changed this one to assignment training, even though the name of the course was Teresa Christensen test course. So this is helpful if you are teaching like 2 sections of the same course and they're named exactly the same. A lot of faculty like to nickname it like Wednesday digital tools and Friday digital tools, so they know which section is which. So that is a nice option. Okay, I'm going to go down to this template test site that I set up here, and I'm just going to click on it, and it's going to take me straight into my course. So all of you should have a course site for the courses that you're teaching. And if you don't, you should just reach out to the registrar and make sure that you are set up as the teacher for that course. The registrar's info all comes over to Canvas. And that course site will have some basic information already populated into it. So on the home page, there's this short little welcome message that's telling you, the faculty, to add a short introductory message, and then make sure to upload your syllabus on the navigation on the left side. So the first thing we might do here is change this home page. This is the landing page. This is where students will be taken when they first go to your course site. So it's a great idea to go in here and change it up a bit. You can go into the edit button. And this is how you edit a page in Canvas. So pages in Canvas can be super flexible. You can pack tons of content into it. And this is called the Rich Content Editor, this little box here with all the tools across the top. So it has some basic text tools. There are things like a link tool, right? Where you can say, see our first reading here. And you can, hyperlink something. There's also the ability to embed an image. You can upload an image. You can go to your course images if you already have files of images that you're going to work with. And let me see if I can navigate to something. I have a lot of funny images. Okay. A wombat. When you put an image in, sometimes it's just giant, so you can grab the corners of it and make it much smaller if you want it to be like a cute little image instead of taking up the whole text box. You can also do things like upload a video. You could record it right here. There are lots of options to record content. You can go into course media, which I'll get back into, where you could store videos to add in there. And what other things can you do? You can upload documents. So you could put a reading in here. Let me see, I'll go ahead and do one so you can see what that looks like. Let's see, file. Here's a reading. So if I insert this reading, which is a PDF, it'll show as a linked file. And when I hit save, you'll be able to see that it will also display it for them. So you can put all sorts of content in here. And you can also, if I click on these three dots or expand my window just a touch, I'll come up with a Google App tool and an external tool, which has a lot of links also to the Google app, which is called Google Drive. That's what this little icon will take you to. So you can do things like embed Kaltura Media, which is a fancy word for embedding a video into your site. And I will circle back to that, what that means, because you do have to do some front end work uploading videos before you can embed them. If you click on Google Drive, it will link to your Google Drive and it will let you select a file. I'm actually not going to go through it right now. That you can then embed here and live edit with your students. So you might not want to do all these things on the home page, but this is just for the future. This is how you build content on pages. And then some other apps in here are you can embed directly from YouTube. Let's see if there's any other ones. You can get embed from Films on Demand, Vimeo, VoiceThread is a recording app. So there are lots of fun apps here that you could put directly into your pages in Canvas. If I hit save, it's going to save these changes I just did on this page, which wasn't too much, but I did want to show you that there's this reading here. Remember, I linked that file, and this is what it looks like. It's a linked reading where students have the option to click on the download arrow to download it, but they could also click on it and it will live preview in the page window. So they could just read it straight on Canvas or they can download it to read later. So this is and I'll come back to what pages are, but this is just sort of to warm you up because pages are the first kind of way to get content into Canvas. And on your home page is sort of the first step you'd want to take to write a little message, say, welcome to the class. Maybe you have a description of what the class is, say what classroom you're going to meet in, any other info you think your students might need. And remember, this is kind of the landing page. So you could decide to write a message that will change frequently. You can have it be sort of a flexible landing page where you're updating it. I see faculty do that. They almost use it like a blog. Or it can just be a static landing page that has a welcome message that students will see so they remember it's the site. I usually put a few images on there since I teach photography classes, and I write a little fun message. I don't really update it too much throughout the term, but there are lots of ways to do that. So that is your home page. That's kind of the first place students go, gives you a little bit of an idea of where to start from. You'll see that there's this navigation here on the left side. So these are all different parts of your Canvas site that you may or may not use. You might not use all these things. And this is called the course navigation. So whereas this is the global navigation, these red ones are the course navigation. And on the very bottom, under settings, if you click on that, there are a few neat things you can do here. There's a lot you can do here, but I'm just going to show you a couple things. The first one is that you can upload an image to your course site. And so if you don't want it to say Pacific Northwest College of Art as a little thumbnail image for your course site, you can click on that and you can choose a different type of image that might be related to the material that you're going to teach. So that's always fun to do so that your course thumbnail looks a little bit different to your students. And then the other thing I wanted to show you here is if you go to navigation, you can change which things your students will see. So let's say these are all different types of parts of your Canvas site that you'll learn more about. But let's say you're really not going to use Zoom. Zoom is a way to have Zoom meetings scheduled for your course and for students to be able to launch them through the course site. I'm not going to use Zoom this term unless I really need to, at which point I'll probably just email my students a link. So I'm going to drag this down into this bottom area. And once it's down there, students will not be able to see it. It'll be hidden from them and it'll kind of simplify their navigation. Then you can hit save. And if I go back to home, there's this really neat button at the top called Student View. When I click on this, it shows what the students see. So as you're making your site, it's a really nice way to check your work through the eyes of your students. And as you can see, when I press that, the navigation, all the items on this left side got much more simplified. So over this week, as you start to work on your Canvas site, you might realize I'm never going to use chat. I'm going to pull that down to the bottom, you know. It'll just make it less overwhelming for students if you clean that up. So on the bottom, there's a leave student view button. That's how you get out of the student view. And let's see, where did I want to go next? People. Okay. So on the left side, I'm just going to go down a few things. If you click on the people item there, it should show you, this is just a test site, so I'm the only person in it right now, but for your courses, you should see all of your students added there. They're all imported from the registration system, Sage, and at PNCA during the first 2 weeks of the term, students can add or drop classes. As they add or drop classes through the registrar office, as soon as that is approved by both the instructor and the advisor, that student will be removed or added to the class, and Canvas will sync on the hour. So there could be a few hours there where the registrar is still processing things, especially if they're busy. So just be patient. No one else can fix this except for the registrar, but your roster will automatically update here, and your students will be added or removed depending on what they're doing. You also, if you have a TA, they will be added by the registrar here as well. But this is a great place to see people. If you want to just get an overview of who's in your class, you can also see what their activity is, like if they've logged in to your class site and how long they've been on your site for. So there's just a little synopsis there. Canvas actually has a ton of analytic tools that you can use to track which students are doing what and how active they're being in the class. That's just one little view there. So that's the people tool. You are not able to add or take away people. I just have this add button because I'm an admin. Another thing that I want to show you is the files. So you might remember I've hidden this from students actually for this course, but this is kind of the back end. And you might remember that I showed you how under your account up here, you could see all of your files. Well, this is just related to this site. And right now it has a few files just from the template, but this is where you could start to upload some things so that you just, if you want to know, how do I start to get the busy work out of the way? This is a great place. So you can make a new folder. You could call it something like readings. And then in the readings folder, you could go ahead and upload something. Let's upload that document there. Whoops, and drag it into readings. That's what I meant to do. And you'll be able to then, I clicked into the readings folder, so now I'm seeing it over here. You can add as much content as you want here. You can see that each course has 2 gigabytes of storage. So if you have giant files like videos that your students are going to use, don't put it here. Instead, I'll show you another repository for videos specifically where you can upload them. But if you want to get started on things that you're going to be populating into your course, that's a great place to start. And this is the back end, so students don't usually have views into files. Does anyone have questions? Okay. Another place that's good to get started on is your syllabus. So under the home button, when you edit that home page, you know, I have this little message here that says upload your syllabus. So your syllabus is right here, and students will be going here to check out syllabi. They expect a syllabus to be here, and the Academic Affairs Office wants all faculty to have a syllabus published here. So this is another page that you can edit, but it's a fancy page. It does some extra special stuff. So it says here, instructions for the faculty, use this page to copy and paste your PNCA syllabus content or link a hard copy file by clicking on the document icon in the rich content editor. So if I erase that message, because I don't need it anymore, I can then go in here, find that document icon, and upload a document, or maybe you've put it into your, if you put it into your files, you would see it under course documents. I'm going to upload a document, and this is a syllabus for a past course I taught. I'm going to put it in. And at that point, it is a PDF. You could also, though, copy all of the Word files. Let's see if I can do that real quick. Hold on, I'm just going to pull open the Pages file. You could copy all the text from your file and paste it in here. And then if I hit update syllabus, it does something pretty cool. So what it does is it has the PDF at the top so students can easily download it, or they can click on it and preview it in the Canvas site. So when you're doing your class at the first day of class and you want to walk through the syllabus, it's really easy to view it. But if you paste all the content, they can scroll through it and see it. And then the syllabus tool usually provides a course summary at the bottom, which as you start to create assignments will be populated there. So that's kind of a really nice overview of the course. So as you start to make assignments, they'll start to show up at that bottom part there. And it'll also have your weighted assignments, which I will get to when I do the assignments training. The syllabus is something, sort of one of the first steps. Let's say you've made your home page and you've made your syllabus, You might at that point decide to publish your site so that your students can just see those 2 pages. A lot of students this week are probably starting to log into Canvas and look for their course sites and just sort of start to get ready for the start of term. So when you publish your site, that's when students who are already in there can actually see it. They will not be able to see your site until you publish it. And you can publish it. I'll just hit the publish button so you can sort of see it has like a green checkbox. And you can still keep a bunch of stuff unpublished if it's not quite ready yet. But it is really nice to have this front page and the syllabus page ready for them. So I would say do those 2 things and then go ahead and hit that publish button. One more button, and then we'll get to the meat of Canvas, which is modules, is the announcements. So this is a tool where you can make announcements for your class. And it's a great way to sort of reach students that's a little different from messaging in the inbox and a little different from updating the homepage. But it is kind of that idea of if you were to keep the homepage updated as a live blog. So you can click this plus announcement button and you can say something like field trip reminder. And then you can use the text box the same as you have for the page. This week we'll be taking a field trip. And you could like link the place, whatever you want. At the bottom, you can do things like delay posting and decide what time and day you want to post it at. If you wanted to do it like the day before, so you can schedule it. You could allow users to comment if you want them to be able to be like, yay, I can't wait. Allow liking, and then you can go ahead and hit publish. And what it does is it makes this little announcement that will show up when the student first goes to the course. So it's kind of like a banner that goes across the top of the site, and they'll see it on their mobile app too. So it's just another way to reach students. I think inbox is kind of more reliable for really important information, but it's kind of like a gentle reminder. So keep that in mind when you're trying to think of how you can reach students to remind them of homework coming up or events in the classroom. And the last thing we'll look at today that's in this list of things in your course navigation is the modules. So module might sound like a weird word to you, but this is kind of the central part of Canvas. And this is where we advise all faculty to put the content of their course. So students will be coming to modules to look for anything relevant to their course. And when you first go here, you'll notice that it's been populated with some basic stuff for you. So the first is this instructor module, do not publish, which has not been published. And you can tell that it hasn't been published because it has these gray X marks through here. If you were to publish it, you would click on this and you have the option to publish just the module, that header, or a module and all the items, or you can unpublish it. But when you have something that's not published, that means that students can't see it. So it's just on the back end for you. And what this is it's a bunch of different things that will help you with learning Canvas. So it's just some useful stuff for faculty. And to break it down, this is the title of the module. This is just a header where it says about this template and about Canvas. So those are sort of how you can divide up things within a module. And then it's a lot of pages. So this is a page. I know that because the icon, page, page, page. And at the bottom, there's a link. And you can click on any of these or you can go through them consecutively. So if I click on note to faculty, this is a note to you all, just talking about how to use Canvas, some things to do, and what's required of faculty by the dean right now. And then at the bottom, you'll see there's a next button. If you hit that, it's going to go to the next item in the module. So this talks about how to customize the template, some things that are uploaded here. Honestly, a little bit boring, so I'm going to skip back to modules. It has some icons that you can cut and paste if you're interested, so you can work on that. The About Canvas section is pretty useful. this says Canvas for the instructor, getting started. So this actually has a link to the faculty guide that I've made in Google Docs, but the rest is very, oh dear. I don't know why. Oh, I think it's because I'm on Zoom. It's blocking me from playing the videos, but these are videos that are all training videos on different little aspects of Canvas, and they're all very short, like 5 minutes or less. So if you want like a different Canvas overview than I'm giving you, feel free to go through here and watch some of these videos. What else is here? There's some more guides. This is a calendar, files, pages, modules. Oh no, yours is saying can't play because of privacy settings. Oh dear, maybe I have to update those links. And then here you have support is a section for a few other things like the community guides, which I showed you, how to submit a help ticket. This is our Canvas guide. I'll just click on it so you can see it. So this is the Google Doc where I've put a lot of just basic guidelines. It also has links to videos, which we'll see if those work or not. Let's see, I'm just curious. Okay, so that has links to videos that actually do play, which is good. So you can access them there.
Sharing permission or something like that.
Yeah, something else is going on Canvas itself. I will have to look into that. Always fun when you discover that in a demo. And there's the Canvas faculty guide embedded here too. So you sort of get a sense of like, that's a module that's been built for faculty to learn about Canvas. And you can fold up the module by hitting this little arrow here. This module has been made for students to get to learn Canvas. Most students honestly have a pretty easy time with Canvas. A lot of them are using it in the Portland public school system already. So it is sort of something that they don't tend to have issues with, but you can always direct them here. It's a similar set of things. However, there are more videos that they can watch that are geared specifically towards students. So you can keep this published and you can just keep it at the top of your site if you want and just show students on the first day of class, especially if you're teaching a first year class, that's helpful, or you have some new transfer students. And then there are 2 modules that have been created for you, which you can choose to use or not, just saying week 1 and week 2, and they're empty. So you can think of a module as like a bucket that you're going to put all of your course content into. And week 1 and week 2 are there because it's really nice sometimes to organize your modules chronologically week by week in terms of how you're going to deliver your course content. You could choose to order it instead in terms of themes or ideas that you're going to be addressing if you don't want it to be as dry as week 1 and week 2. But I have found that students need a little bit more assistance with knowing when things are due and when to expect materials to be delivered. So they do tend to like the chronological stuff so they can sort of see if they were sick that week, what did I miss? What's going to be due next week? So that does kind of help to keep it like that. So when you're starting a module, you can hit this plus sign and you can give it a name. I'll just start with, I'll call it like test module for now, but it could be any week. You can choose to lock the module until a certain date if you don't want students to have access until that date. That's sort of a fancy thing to do. You could add a prerequisite, like they have to go through week 2 before week 3 unlocks, for example. Or you could just leave it as is, and you can say add module, and it'll go down at the bottom. So this is that test module. To add content to the module, you can hit this plus sign here, and you can do all sorts of different things. This is where you have an option of all the different things you can add to your module. So in the next training session, I'm going to go through how to set up an assignment, a quiz, and a discussion, because those are the 3 components that can be graded. So an assignment is just something that students are probably going to submit to or get grades on. A quiz obviously is a quiz. It's a very fun tool to use in Canvas because it does most of the grading itself. And then a discussion can be a threaded discussion that could be graded or not. and it sort of encourages offline participation. But the other things that I'll look at right now is that you could just add a file if you want. You could click on file. It'll show any files that you've already put in your files. Like I have that reading I just uploaded. So I could add that item there. And you'll see it's right here. It has a little link symbol or an attachment symbol because it is a file. And when a student clicks on it, it shows it in a preview window and it gives them the option to download it. So that's how you could add a reading or anything else. Just know that when you attach a file directly into a module, it does show the title of that file. So make sure your PDF is titled in a good way. Don't title it like really boring reading or something. Other things you can add to a module that's a file is a page. So we went through that with the home page, but I know there was a question about how else could you use pages. So I could click on page. And if you've already made a page, you'll see it listed here. But if you want to create a new page, you click on that first option and you give it a name. So I often like to build my courses so each module for each week has sort of an introductory like overview page. So it'll say week 1. It'll just be sort of a week 1, like what are we doing in class? And that's what I'm calling it here. But to edit it now, I'm going to click into it and I can hit the edit button. And this is where I usually do let's say it's in the middle of the semester, I'll say do today and I'll list reading and reading questions, working on final project, things like that. In class, lecture, demo, discussion, sort of an overview of what we're doing, and then do next week. Something like that is sort of nice for students to be able to see. You can also, of course, use the pages however you want. You know, you can edit the text, you could insert videos. So pages are a way that you can provide information for your students, like this, or you can embed content. So if you didn't want to just link a file, you could embed it here. You could embed a video. You could say, watch this video before you come to class, all sorts of things. They're some very flexible. It's not something that they'll be graded on a page. It's just a way to distribute course materials. So I'm going to hit save. Does anyone have questions about pages and how that can function? It's really flexible because you can embed so much stuff in it. You can make it look super fancy, or it can be really perfunctory, I guess.
You want to make sure your students do look at a page. You can add requirements to your module, which maybe will be covered in another session.
Yes. And you can do some fancy things too, like increase the indent, you know, change the layout of it. You can add, let's see, where's the header section? A text header, like homework. And then underneath this, you might add an assignment, which I'll come to later, but I can just pretend to write it now. Reading and response. So that can be under homework. You know, you can sort of divide it up and get fancy with it if you want to. A few other things you can add to your module. We went through file and page. We're going to come back to assignment, quiz, discussion next time. We did text header. So there's these external URLs and external tools. So an external URL would just be a link to something. Let's just do Willamette University since that's right there. But you can add a URL and then you can give it a page name. And you can say, and you can load it in a new tab too if you want. You can add that item and then that's just a link that they can click on. The last thing here was external tool, which pulls up a list of different sort of apps that we have worked to embed into Canvas. And some of these you may or may not use, but I think one of the most useful ones, perhaps, that I'm going to actually be doing a whole workshop on later in the term is Google Drive. So you can embed Google documents into your module. And that's a really cool way to collaborate with students. You could have a live Google Doc in there that you can all collaborate on, or it can just be content that you want to provide. And the other neat thing that I want to touch on, aside from YouTube and Vimeo, where you can sort of embed and link videos, is selecting from Kaltura Media. So I'm going to come back to this in our Thursday session, but Kaltura is the name of the company that's providing us with video or media storage space in Canvas. And when you select from Kaltura Media, if you have already uploaded videos, it's going to show me my things, you'll have a whole gallery that you can choose videos from. So you can embed a video. This is like a demo on scanning. And you can give it a page name and you can add the item, and then it's right there as a MP4. So some people like to put their items, like their links to things, their reading PDFs, their videos, just as items in their modules. And some people like to make a page where they embed that content within the page. And you can do both. You can play around with it, but it's sort of up to you how you want to distribute it or show it to students. So I just wanted to see if there are any questions from anyone, since I'm sort of nearing the end of what I'm going to show you. In the next meeting that I'll hold on Thursday, I'm going to dig into how to set this up really for instruction. So how to make assignments, discussions, quizzes, and then upload videos so you can get started on that. If anyone's interested, I can show you that video uploader really quickly. Yes, Audrey.
Hi, Teresa. Thanks. I have a question about copying over modules from a previous course. Like if I wanted to copy over a lot of what I did last year to this year.
Great question. I skipped over that, so thank you for asking. On the home page of your site, over here you have a whole bunch of different options, but import existing content or import from Commons. Let's say your department chair has shared a past semester course to Commons. That could be an option, but import existing content is how you can import something that you've taught before. So when you go to content type, you can copy a Canvas course, or if you've taught at another institution and you've worked with any of these learning management systems, you'll see them there. So copy a Canvas course, and then you can search for the course name. So I know that I have taught this course before. And as soon as you type it in, you'll see all the past terms. So make sure you get the right one. You can choose any of them. I'll just choose one. And then you can choose either all the content or you can select specific content. I'll choose select specific content so I can show you what it does. Something that's really useful when you are importing content is that you adjust events and due dates and you remove dates is what I'd suggest, so that your due dates aren't all set to the semester that course was taught. When you hit the import button, if you have selected this select specific content, it will let you then, oh, here it is. There should be this red button saying select content. So there you can click and it'll sort of show you, do you want modules, assignments, discussions? Like these are all the different things I could choose from. And let's say I just wanted a few modules, I could choose which modules I wanted. So if you know you don't want to import the whole course, you just want some of it, it's a great way to do it. Hopefully that helps. Are there any other questions? In terms of like the video media, I can just quickly show you in case any of you are interested. Media Gallery or My Media is where you will see that video repository that's run by Kaltura. So if I click on Media Gallery, this is specific to my course. Loading. And it's not showing any videos that I have yet. If I click on My Media, it's going to show all the videos that I've uploaded across all my courses. Or it should. We'll see. There's a bunch. And you can add videos here. So that's another sort of busy work thing you could start to do to prepare your course site. You could click on Add New, and you can upload a video if you have something that you've created yourself. You can also create a video. So let's say you want to do a screen demonstration. I teach a lot of software, so I often create videos of myself demoing in the software on the screen. So you can use Kaltura Capture to capture yourself on the screen. It gives you the option of using a webcam and a screen cam, or one or the other. So that's nice to be able to create content. Yeah, so you can either upload or you can create something fresh. And it'll make a repository here, and then you'll be able to embed them with that external tool that I showed you, either in a module or into a page. So that's something you can kind of work on in the background if you have some videos you want to put on your site. And students can use this too. So if you're teaching any type of video class, or you want a student, let's say they were absent and they missed the class where they were supposed to do a student presentation, they could record themselves doing that presentation and upload it to your course site. So they have that option as well. Or if they're making video work, they can upload files of their video work. All right. We are just about at time now. So last chance for questions. And if not, hopefully I'll see some of you on Thursday. And just know that these sessions will be recorded, and I'll post the link on the Google Doc that has all the sessions listed there if you want to go back and watch them. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Teresa.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Learned a lot.
You, Teresa.
That was
Oh,
awesome.
good.
Thank you.